Coronation Street turmoil. Gary Windau's new secret could destroy his relationship with Maria. By Your Name, 3,000-word feature. Tensions have once again reached a boiling point on Coronation Street, and at the center of the latest dramatic upheaval is none other than Gary Windaus, a character long known for walking the tightrope between redemption and relapse. In a week already heavy with grief following the emotional memorial for Craig Tinker, the storm clouds began to gather as Gary's growing connection to Lou Michaelis raised eyebrows and suspicions. With emotions still raw after Craig's tragic death, Gary's secretive purchase of a van from Lou, widow of Craig's killer, Mick Michaelis, has ignited a bitter rift with Maria Connor, his wife and longtime anchor in a world he's struggled to stay grounded in. But the question on everyone's lips is this: why is Gary hiding his growing bond with Lou? And more importantly, what might it cost him? This isn't just another soap flirtation. It's a dangerous emotional entanglement with the potential to unravel relationships, loyalties, and lives. Craig Tinker's death, a community in mourning. This week's Coronation Street opened with an emotional tribute to Craig Tinker, a much-loved character whose tragic death from injuries sustained in an attack by Mick Michaelis has left a community in mourning. Viewers have followed Craig's journey from bumbling copper to responsible, sensitive family man. His death was not only a devastating blow to his friends and family, but it also left a moral vacuum, a question of justice and blame. In the wake of Craig's passing, the grieving Weatherfield community united for a memorial. But as is often the case on the cobbles, grief unearthed deeper tensions, particularly those involving Lou Michaelis. Lou Michaelis, a woman in the eye of the storm. Lou, widow of the man responsible for Craig's death, is a character walking a tightrope of her own. She didn't wield the weapon, but in many eyes, she shares the guilt by association. This dynamic came to a head when Maria left Lou in charge of the salon during the service, a fragile gesture of trust that Lou quickly broke when she stepped out for a bite to eat. It was during this walkabout that she encountered Gary Windaus, seemingly by chance. Lou expressed condolences to Gary, and a telling moment followed. She referred to Craig not merely as a police officer, but as a friend. Gary, clearly moved, encouraged her to pick a side. But the exchange that truly sparked speculation was when Gary offered to buy Mick's van. On the surface, it may have seemed like a charitable act. But the decision was made without Maria's knowledge, and it's that omission that now threatens to derail Gary's domestic stability. A tense confrontation. Later that day, emotions flared once again, this time at the bistro, where Lou unexpectedly turned up at Craig's memorial. Her appearance stunned the crowd, particularly Maria, who clearly viewed it as a crass intrusion. Despite Lou's quiet insistence that she was there to pay respects, Maria made her displeasure loudly and publicly known. The scene escalated quickly when Lou, attempting to blend into the background, ordered a glass of wine and began casually scrolling through her phone. Maria, simmering with rage, marched over and snatched the wine out of her hand in a fiery moment reminiscent of old-school Corey confrontations. "I don't think so," Maria snapped, glaring down at Lou. "You and your murdering husband aren't welcome here." To Lou's credit, she remained composed, gently insisting she wasn't her husband and offering condolences to Kirk Sutherland, who appeared taken aback but accepting. But it wasn't just the emotional fireworks that caught attention, it was Lou's parting remark to Gary that lit the fuse. Lou's bombshell: "Thanks for buying the van." As Lou prepared to leave, she made sure to publicly thank Gary for purchasing Mick's van, right in front of Maria. Maria's face said it all. Shocked, betrayed, and deeply confused, she turned to Gary. "You bought Mick's van? Without telling me?" The revelation caused an immediate rift. Maria had already been walking a tightrope, trying to keep her business afloat and maintain her moral compass after Craig's death. Now, discovering that her husband was quietly making deals with the widow of the man who killed her friend. That was a bridge too far. Secrets, texts, and deleted messages. What is Gary hiding? Back home, Maria confronted Gary about the van. He claimed he was only trying to help Lou's kids, portraying himself as the compassionate savior stepping in where no one else would. But viewers were shown another side, a side Maria didn't see. Lou sent Gary a private text: "Thanks for having my back. XX. Gary's response? Immediate deletion. He lied to Maria, claiming the message came from Ed Bailey, and quickly buried the evidence. Why would Gary lie? If his motivations were purely altruistic, wouldn't he be open about it? This moment is a classic soap red flag: hidden messages, secret deals, and mounting lies. Gary's deleted text is more than just a plot point, it's a sign of a deeper emotional entanglement that could explode in the weeks to come. Is Gary slipping back into old habits? Longtime Corey fans will remember that Gary Windass hasn't always walked the straight and narrow. In fact, he's one of the soap's most complex anti-heroes. A man who's bounced between redemption and criminality more times than we can count. From loan sharking to violence, cover-ups to contract killings, Gary's past is riddled with dark secrets. And though he's tried to reform, especially since marrying Maria, there are moments where that darkness resurfaces. Is his support of Lou merely a good deed gone wrong, or is Gary craving the excitement and danger he's tried to leave behind? Is Lou a symbol of that darker life, a woman on the edge, much like Gary once was? And crucially, is he emotionally invested in her in a way that he won't admit, not even to himself? A woman pushed to the edge. Maria Connor has been through her fair share of trauma. From failed relationships to dealing with Gary's shady past, she's had to stay strong time and time again. But now, with Craig's death weighing heavily and her husband lying to her face, she's reaching her limit. Maria has always been fiercely protective of her loved ones, and fiercely principled. That's why Lou's presence at the memorial was so unbearable for her. And Gary's secretive behavior? That's betrayal. If Gary is developing feelings for Lou, or even just prioritizing her needs above Maria's, how long can their marriage survive? Lou and Gary. Just friendship, or something more? On the surface, Lou appears to be a grieving widow simply trying to make ends meet. Her husband is in prison, she's left with children to raise, and she's shunned by nearly everyone on the street. But in her scenes with Gary, there's a subtle vulnerability, tinged with chemistry. Could this be more than a trauma bond? Could feelings be developing between the two? Lou seems to admire Gary, seeing him as one of the few people who treats her with kindness and dignity. Her text, with those telltale kisses, may be innocent, or it may signal the start of something more intimate. Meanwhile, Gary's willingness to lie to Maria, to hide his communications with Lou, and to delete her messages suggests an internal conflict he's not ready to face. The bigger picture. What happens next? So where does all this leave us? Gary is lying to Maria. Lou is clearly grateful, and possibly emotionally invested, in Gary. Maria feels betrayed and is beginning to question Gary's loyalty. Mick Michaelis is in prison but still poses a threat. This sets the stage for a classic Corey powder keg. If Maria discovers the extent of Gary's communications with Lou, it could shatter their marriage. Worse, if Lou begins to develop feelings and acts on them, or if Mick finds out, Gary could be caught in a web of conflict that pulls him back into the underworld. And let's not forget, Gary's past is never far behind. One wrong move, one impulsive decision, and everything he's built with Maria could come crumbling down. Fan theories. What viewers think might happen? Corey fans have been buzzing online with theories about where this storyline might go. Some of the most popular include, Gary and Lou will have an affair, leading to the breakdown of Gary and Maria's marriage. Mick will escape or be released early, and come after Gary for stealing his wife and family. Lou is manipulating Gary, and her endgame could be revenge or financial gain. Gary is trying to keep Lou close to protect her from Mick, not out of romantic interest, but Maria won't believe him when she finds out. Whatever happens, one thing is clear, the drama is only just beginning. Conclusion. Trouble brewing on the cobbles. Coronation Street excels when it comes to slow burn drama and emotionally charged character arcs, and the developing situation between Gary, Maria, and Lou is shaping up to be a classic. At its heart, this is a story about grief, guilt, trust, and the haunting power of the past. As Gary stands at a crossroads, between honesty and deception, loyalty and temptation, viewers are left wondering, will he choose the right path? Or will his secrets destroy everything he's fought to protect? Whatever happens next, one thing's for sure, this isn't the end of the story. In fact, it might be the beginning of Gary Windass' most dangerous chapter yet.